What's up guys, Ryan here from Rides by Ryan. I'm going to show you guys how to buff a car. We get cars in here all the time that are really faded like this one. This particular car doesn't have the best paint job in the world, but it's old and it's a lacquer paint job, and a lot of times what happens is these lacquer paint jobs, they fade, as you can see. I already buffed one half of it just to give you an idea of what can be done, how far back you can bring these cars. We're not going to go super crazy on it, but I just want to give you guys a rough idea of what you'll need to do and how much drastically you can improve the look of a car with a faded paint job. So, first thing we're going to start with is a wool pad. Another thing, this is a cordless buffer. They're great if you're going to do something small. This one's made by Milwaukee. If you're going to do like a hood or a in-panel blend, or if you're going to restore headlights or something like that, these buffers are great. They're not that great for doing an overall car. And after I make this video, when I finish the whole car, I'm going to use a cordless or a corded DeWalt buffer, just because this thing runs out of batteries and it's just a pain to keep charging them. Anyhow, you're going to want to clean the car obviously first. Make sure there's no dirt on it, because if you get dirt on the surface while you're polishing, you're obviously going to scratch the paint. When the car is faded as bad as this one is, we start with a wool pad. That is the most coarse pad and a heavier compound. We use the 3M lineup. There's a lot of different brands out there. Presta makes some, Meguiar's makes some. The 3M stuff seems to be the best. It's a little bit expensive, but it usually works the best. But this is one of the 3M coarse compounds, so we'll start with this because it's so faded, and the wool pad. So we have the Velcro quick connect for the pads, and you just want to put a little bit of compound on here. Now the key to doing this, you don't want to heat the paint up, so you want to keep moving the buffer around. If you stay in one area for too long, you're going to burn the paint, and you're going to damage it. And you're going to, especially on the edges. You never want to buff the edges too much because you're going to burn the paint off of them. Usually when you do a hood like this, I'll pop the hood so it's above the fender, so you don't burn the fender. Since I'm only doing a demonstration right now, it's not popped. But as long as you keep moving the buffer around, don't let it sit in one spot, don't turn your speed up too high, you should be good to go. Another thing I wanted to point out, we usually cover the windshield and all the rubber. We usually tape off the rubber. This is an old car, we're just using this for a demonstration, so don't do that because you'll get the compound. As you see what I just did, you get the compound all over the rubber. And you can get it off, but it's a pain in the neck to clean it. So what I usually do is I usually run a little bit of tape around the trim. I cover the windshield with paper, with masking paper, around the door handles or any moldings or anything like that. I always tape them off before I buff, just so it doesn't get like that. But again, since we're just doing this for a demonstration, we're just gonna let it go. As you can see, it's coming out a little bit better already. It's not going to be super shiny with the first pass with the coarse stuff. It's never going to be that shiny when you use the wool pad and the coarse stuff. You're always going to have to keep stepping it up one grade after the next. But as you can see, some of the oxidation is already gone. It's already starting to polish. So I'm going to fast forward this part. I'm going to do the whole hood with the first step, and then we'll go on to the second step. Alright, so as you can see, we finished the first step. It's quite a bit shinier than it originally started. It's not as faded, but it's still kind of dull. If you look at it in the light, you might not be able to see it on the camera, but it's still got a dull haze to it. So there's another step we're going to go after this. This being an older car and not having the greatest paint to begin with, and the fact that it's a lighter color, we're only going to do the 2 steps on it just to give you an idea of what it takes to buff a car. If this was a newer car with a nicer paint job, or if it was a dark colored car like black, you would want to do every step in your system, whether it's Meguiar's, 3M, Presta, any of those. They're all going to have the different levels, and you're always going to use a different pad with your different compounds. So you remember that we started with the wool pad, which is the most coarse. Now we're going to go up to the white egg crate pad, and the next level, like I said, we're using 3M, so this is the 3M compound we're going to use for the next step. And after we finish this, it's going to be quite a bit shinier than the last step. So I'm going to fast forward once again and show you what that looks like. So you remember I was saying that the Milwaukee battery dies when you're buffing? Well, mine died. So this is the DeWalt buffer that we usually use when we're doing an entire car. They usually do last a bit longer than that. That one probably wasn't charged. I didn't check it. I just grabbed it off the box, figuring that it was charged, but it died. So we're using this one now. So this is after our second step. You always want to make sure you wipe your compound off between stages. You never want to contaminate the two. So you never want the very, very coarse compound to get on the pad for the second compound because it's going to slow your process down. So after you do the first step and you're finished with that, you wipe the car off your area that you're doing just to get the compound off, and then you switch to the next pad and the next compound and so on and so forth. Now, like I said, because this is an older car, we're going to stop here. We're going to do the whole car, but I'm not going to videotape that. But the second step is enough on this car because it's a lighter colored car. You can see that the hood looks really good right now, as will the rest of the car. It doesn't really need to go any further than that. If you were going to do another step, you would then switch to a black pad like this guy here, and then you would use a polish. And then if you were going to go really crazy and really, really do a nice job on a darker colored car, pretty much only on a darker colored car, because it wouldn't really show up on a light colored car, there's a blue pad that you can use after this. And you can use that with a micro polish, and you get some outstanding results. A lot of times what you'll have to do, if there's scratches in a paint job that you're buffing, you can lightly wet sand those scratches with 1500 wet sandpaper. Make sure your sandpaper is real clean, and then you do the whole process over again like we just showed you with the coarse pad, the middle pad, and then this pad. And what you'll do is you actually buff the sand scratches out. So you can take a deep scratch out of the paint. You know, if there's a scratch going straight across the hood like this, you could actually wet sand that scratch right out of the paint and then polish it, and you'll never know that it was even there. You just have to be careful and make sure there's enough paint on the car and you don't burn it. Anyway, that's it. I hope you liked the video. If you have any suggestions or any comments, feel free to leave them down below. Please subscribe to our channel. We love that when you guys subscribe. Be sure to like us on Facebook. Our Facebook channel is facebook.com/ridesbyryan. If you have any questions or anything like that, I'd be happy to help. If you want to see us do an instructional video on something else, feel free to shoot us a message or leave it down in the comments below. Thanks for watching.